Good morning, 8th grade. To begin our new year, we will be reviewing pronouns, and we'll be following much the same pattern as we had been doing prior to this lesson. You may be remembering that pronouns take the place of nouns, and so it stands to reason that these are going to be substituted into places in the sentence where we found nouns before, like the subject, or the direct or indirect object, or the object of the preposition. So as we go through our lesson today and tomorrow, we're first going to be identifying the parts of the sentence, and then we're going to be noticing that some of those parts that we identified are going to be pronouns. At the top of the page, you're going to notice that there are several definitions. The first, that of a pronoun, a word that takes the place of one or more nouns in the sentence. 2, a personal pronoun that refers to a person, a specific thing. Thirdly, some pronouns are called subject pronouns because they take the place of the subject of the sentence. And lastly, object pronouns, those words that take the place of the indirect, direct, or object of the preposition. As we go through our sample sentences as well as the sentences on the bottom of this page, we're going to be looking for the parts of the sentence. And then as we transition into our lesson for tomorrow, we'll be identifying the words that are pronouns and whether those pronouns serve as subject or object pronouns. First, the examples. Tito is a sports fan. He especially likes football. You will notice that Tito and he are interchangeable. They both serve as the subject of the sentence. The difference between the two words, Tito is a proper noun, he is a personal pronoun. Tito coaches younger players. Tito coaches them. In this sentence, players is a direct object. Them is also the direct object. Once again, in the first sentence, players is a noun. In the second sentence, them is a pronoun. Both of them serve as a direct object in their sentences. The head coach gave Tito some responsibility. The head coach gave him responsibility. You will notice in this sentence, Tito is an indirect object. Coach gave what? Responsibility. To whom or for whom? Tito. To whom or for whom? Him. Once again, Tito and him are interchangeable. Tito, a noun, him, a pronoun. In the last example, for Tito, football is enjoyable. For him, football is enjoyable. And in this sentence, I want to take note of the fact that this is a prepositional phrase. And I also notice that Tito and him, once again, are interchangeable. And that brings me to the point of emphasis that we need to be remembering. Oftentimes, a pronoun is going to follow a preposition. For Tito, for him. These are the examples of pronouns and the places that they're found in a sentence. Again, we are able to divide them in between subject, singular and plural, and object, singular and plural. The reason I have this colored goldish and this colored a purplish color is because some of my object pronouns can be direct objects and some of them can be indirect objects, and still others follow a preposition, making them the object of the preposition. As we conclude our lesson for today, we are going to look at these 9 sentences, and all I want to do for the remainder of my assignment today is to highlight, color, or label the sentence parts. Again, what we have done prior to this point is going to be useful for our identifying what part of the sentence our pronouns are. So, my purplish color in each one of these sentences is the subject. The aqua blue color is the verb. The gold color is the object, indirect and or direct. And then in gray, I have set aside my prepositional phrases. Again, you can label them, you can color them on the right-hand side of this page. I have listed some abbreviations that might be helpful. Again, parentheses for prepositional phrases. There are a couple of things that we want to be remembering as we remembered in our previous lessons when I have an interrogative sentence, when I have a question. Oftentimes, the subject is going to follow a verb or a helping verb. So when you turn the sentence around like sentence number 4, it really says he is the main character in the book. In sentence number 5 and in sentence number 9, there is a helping verb and a main verb. So Mr. Rodriguez did send, subject and the verb. You, helping verb are, verb going. You are going to the volleyball game. So I have a subject, sentence 1. I have a verb, and I have an object, cat. And when we get to our sentences tomorrow, we're going to say, no, cat is not a pronoun, but it could be. And again, we're going to list some options for this noun, or this noun to change it to a pronoun. Sentence 2, subject, verb, us. This is an object. This is a pronoun. And again, tomorrow, we'll be calling this our object pronoun. We're identifying these sentence parts to show you that nothing has changed concerning those sentence parts that we've previously labeled. The only thing that we're looking to identify as we proceed through our pronoun lessons this week is if any of those words have substituted from a regular noun into a pronoun. You might see what, David? Jeremy. These are direct objects. This is a prepositional phrase. Again, we'll look at this sentence and we'll say, okay, I do have a pronoun, and I'm going to be able to say that this is a subject pronoun. He is character prepositional phrase. Once again, when we look at sentences like these tomorrow, we're going to be able to identify what, if any, of the words in the sentence are a pronoun. But I want you to understand that how we approach these sentences is no different than what we've previously done in the first and the second quarter. Mr. Rodriguez did send you brochure. This is an indirect object. This is a direct object, okay? And I can be using these abbreviations if I want to. Again, I can be putting my parentheses around the prepositional phrases in number 6. I have 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, and a subject and a verb. Again, tomorrow we'll be able to identify, yes, indeed, I do have a pronoun, and it's part of a prepositional phrase. But again, my point of emphasis today is to simply be reviewing the identification of those sentence parts, and then tomorrow we'll take a look at the pronouns themselves. We gave report, subject, verb, direct object. Teacher, verb, gave, direct object, be plus. Again, in this particular sentence, I notice that I have another pronoun. And this particular pronoun in this sentence is going to be serving as my direct object. And so when we look at tomorrow's lesson, again, we're going to have an opportunity to label that accordingly. You are going. We looked at this sentence earlier today. We notice it's separated because it is a question, it's interrogative, and then the prepositional phrase to the volleyball game. My takeaway from today's lesson is that sometimes I have words in the sentence that take the place of nouns, and I call those pronouns. And inside of the sentences, I have my regular sentence parts. I have my subject, I have my verb, I have my prepositional phrases, and I may have an indirect or a direct object. Sometimes these words may not contain any pronouns in the sentences. Sometimes there may be pronouns in the sentence, and in tomorrow's lesson, we're going to look specifically at these pronouns that we identified today, again, using our review of the sentences that we have from today, and then go back. My exit outcome when I get to the end is I'm going to be looking at a sentence and I'm going to be able to say this word, like they, is a pronoun, and I would be able to say it is a subject pronoun. And I think, again, having to identify the parts of the sentence, that'll make it relatively easy for us. That's it for today, class. As we continue to work through the month of January, once again, these daily videos are going to be important not only for being able to glean the skill lesson and the review, but also to be able to get the correct answers as you turn these papers back in. That's it for today. We'll continue tomorrow, Tuesday, as we talk about how pronouns are substituted into the sentence for other sentence parts.